I'm Cecile. I'm a graphic designer in Melbourne, and I also make games in my spare time.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm the guitarist and singer in Cable Ties.
Hi, I'm Maize, and I'm an audio specialist working across indie to AAA games.
Hope is this game made in this tiny game engine called Bitsy. It tells the story of this person who is trying to move out of their house, but just kind of is dealing with some gloomy feelings and just kind of has struggle reaching out for help.
Hope the song is really about the way that hope is something that you have to practice and do and sometimes think out logically. It sort of started off being written in my bedroom when I was feeling pretty despondent and hopeless about the world and it was all going to hell and there was nothing I could do about it anyway, and the song is kind of like me talking myself out of that.
The reason that the project was put together was because the Victorian Music Development Office with myself see these links between indie game developers and indie studios and indie bands, whether it's their cultures or their business models and things like that, especially within Melbourne and Victoria and our kind of artistic cultures. And there was a bit of why aren't these collaborations happening more often?
When we ended up deciding on a Hope, we had a fairly clear, almost visual idea of what kind of story that we wanted to tell with it. I put the lyrics onto the board, and then we'd listen to the song at the same time, and then we were writing things about the lyrics, what we thought of, the images that we had in our head, and then we were like, okay, what does this mean to us? And what can we do with this?
We did a lot of what's very common in games of high transitions behind sound design. Some of the visual and scene structures in the game lend itself to just abrupt stops and starts and that, again, going back to that kind of grungy feel, it was totally fine as well. So there's a fair amount of heavy effects on there. And I think that was interesting because it was Cable Ties, is this fine? And they didn't care at all. It was really funny.
They were like, yeah, go for it.
yeah.
Go wild. Woo!
Not precious at all, which was really nice.
We kind of wanted this multi-layered reading of the song, in a sense, where the game tells one story and the lyrics tell another. I definitely do think that we had that idea of saving the actual voice that comes in, that is a comforting and encouraging presence in the game that was absent up until then, and that contrast is what really makes the second half of the game really effective.
This was a really great lesson in vulnerability for me. Collaborative things that I've done before have usually been music. To write music together as a band, we generally haven't had to use many words, but to do something like this, I really had to immediately put all the words on the page and kind of dissect them. You get an enormous amount out of vulnerability, not only with the project that you're doing, but with your practice for the future.
If you want to play the game, you can play it on my itch page on itch.io. It's horizon.itch.io/hope. Yeah, and you can play it for free on any browser.
You can find Cable Ties music on Bandcamp, and the track Hope that this game came from is off our second album, Far Enough.
You can find more about me at maizewallin.com, MAIZEWALLIN.com, and on Twitter.